Okay, before you start trimming the glider's nails, you want to try to make sure you have everything out. I'm going to show you the pouch method. And you have your pouch, your nail clippers. You're going to want a small container of a cornstarch or a flour in case you nip their nails too short and they bleed. You would just put a little bit of that powder on the end of the nail and that'll help coagulate it. And if you choose to use treats when you're doing nail trimming, you want to have those out and ready as well. Now I choose to use the type of nail clippers that have the angled tip to them. I think those are easier, so I will show you how to use those versus the regular nail clippers. Okay, first what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my glider out of her bonding pouch. And her nails are getting caught, so definitely need to be trimmed. Try to get her into this pouch. Now I use a small nail trimming pouch so there's not quite as much material as a regular bonding pouch or a cage pouch. Once you get them in, I like to close the top of it off to keep them down in there. And then if you give them a treat, that will hopefully keep their mouth busy with the treat instead of busy on your hands. You want to grab one paw out at a time. Get your glider's head down in there. And then I take the pouch and I fold it over. So all that's out is the one paw. And that kind of keeps her down inside. Now, as I explained, I don't care for these type of clippers because when you're trimming with the angle of these, it would be very easy to trim the pad of their toe when you're trying to trim the tip of their nail. So instead, I prefer to use the angled clippers, and I can get right into the tip of the nail instead of the pad of the foot. And then basically, I just hold their foot between your thumb and your forefinger, and then you just start taking the tips of them and trim the tips of their nails. On the gliders, you should be able to see, you may not be able to get it in the video, but you'll see a vein through the toenail, and you don't want to clip that vein. That's what will cause the toenail to bleed. Now I can't get to the thumbnail the way I have them held, so I need to readjust, and then you can see just that little tiny tip right there, and I'm going to trim just that tip. Then I'm going to release that, and they'll usually pull it right back in. And that is the front. On the front of the foot, you're going to trim all 5 toenails. I'll show you on a back. You just have to reach back in there, grab the back, do the same thing, fold your pouch over, and hold their foot. Now on this one, their toe does not have a nail on it at all. Their first is a webbed toe, and it's got 2 nails on it. Those are the grooming claws. We only trim those when they get really long. You can trim them, but they usually don't need trimmed every time. So if you can see how long these nails are, again, I'm just going to trim the tip of them. Just like that. Now when you're trimming the front, especially, give her another treat to keep her busy. You want to be very careful. Fold it over. When you're holding the foot, since the patagium comes all the way up on the toe, you want to be careful that you don't have it up so close that when you're trimming, you also trim the patagium. You want to make sure that's pulled down away from you. And she popped her nose out before you start trimming. And then she bit me. And that's how you trim a glider's toenails.